guys, once again here to review some books. Well, only one book today because it deserves a whole video apparently, and give you a fun fact. Am I still in my pajamas at 4 in the afternoon? Yeah, I haven't washed my hair in a few days, but here we go. Twilight. I understand that Twilight was a cultural phenomenon of sorts. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone knew of it. I do not like vampires, so I just didn't care at all. But since I'm trying to write a young adult book, I figured I should read a very popular young adult book. And it is still popular to this day because I requested it through my library, the Libby app, and I had to wait 6 weeks for it. Everybody was reading Twilight in 2020, which I guess that new book came out where it's like Twilight in Edward's perspective. Obviously, I did not enjoy Twilight very much, but I did it. I will just tell you, normally I don't finish books if I don't like it. I have no qualms with quitting, but I power through this one. You will be surprised. Well, I surprised myself with this because I learned a lot of new English words. The first word, jag. She says, I'm not about to have a crying jag. In the context, I was like, oh, maybe it's like a bout of crying. First definition.
A period of unrestrained indulgence in an activity, spree, binge, so a crying binge, a crying spree.
A second possible definition.
A state of intoxication from liquor.
There is also verb.
To cut or slash, especially in points. Verb, used without object, jagged, jagging, to move with a jerk. Jag.
So there you have it. All the weird definitions that seemingly have nothing to do with each other, but all define the same word. So then I was like to my husband, Jamie, have you ever heard of this word jag? Am I alone in not knowing this English word? And then he was like, yeah, I've never heard that word, but I've heard the word jag off. What did you just say to me?
Noun, chiefly used in western Pennsylvania. A stupid, irritating, or contemptible person. Jag
off. So 2 whole new English words that we know now. Thank you, Twilight. Another English word, wool gathering. Bella is in her physical education class, not doing much because she's super clumsy.
Indulgence in aimless thought or dreamy imagining, absent-mindedness.
Which I picked up from the context, but I have never seen this word used. Have you? I thought wool gathering was it just meant you're gathering wool. Another moment where I questioned my grasp of the English language. Bella's about to be pummeled by a car because there's ice in the parking lot and the car spins out of control. Suddenly, a low oath makes her realize Edward is beside her and she's not crushed underneath the car. A low oath? What? Oh. He said a swear word, probably like he cussed. Yup. So there you have it, some of these words in English that we now know. Another thing, for some reason, even though I knew that it was about vampires, I just didn't know that I didn't know very much about vampires. My frame of reference for vampires is the amazing and funny movie by Taika Waititi called What We Do in Shadows. So then I was just going into this book with these vampires who YouTube the sunrise because they will like melt in the light or whatever. But then in Twilight, I learned that vampires don't actually melt or die or burn from too much sun. They actually shimmer. Diamonds in his skin. Diamond skin. What other cool features do these vampires have? Well,
they're super fast, they're super strong, they have super senses, they have perfect eyesight, perfect smell, perfect taste, I think? I guess that one's questionable. They can taste your blood. They can smell your blood.
And Bella's blood smells floral, which is weird. I'm not going to get into that. I thought the coolest features of the vampires was that their eye colors change when they're hungry. It's like black when they're hungry, and then his liquid topaz eyes were penetrating topaz when they're not hungry, which I think is a cool feature to have, because when I'm hungry, I get really angry and irritated, and people are made uncomfortable. It would be nice if I didn't have to show that. They could just look at the color of my eyes and be like, ooh, she's hungry. Get this girl some food. And they would feed me. You know, like someone who loves me would feed me. That's the hope anyway. I guess if I could have any of the vampire things, that's the one that I would choose. Would I want all the other things the vampires can do? What are the limits, basically, and what are the rules? Apparently, when it comes to Twilight vampires, there are none, because they're so bad and mysterious and beautiful. Oh yes, that's another defining features of vampires. They're just drop dead gorgeous, and you literally drop dead because they have venom in their bite, and so you'll die if they bite you. But I think Bella almost nearly dies whenever Edward just like looks at her, because he grinned his crooked smile at me, stopping my breath and my heart. I couldn't imagine how an angel could be any more glorious. Alright, so let me just channel like my high school girl self and think about this. If a beautiful boy looked at me and was like, I love the smell of your blood. It's floral. Would I be okay with that? I guess my high school self would love that. I mean, probably would be a little bit creeped out, but I would be like, okay, you're beautiful, so just tell me anything. Thank God I'm not a high school girl anymore. I'm just really glad those days are over. Also, this beautiful boy, I keep picturing the guy. I haven't seen the movies. I've seen the posters and the trailer, and so I see the guy who played Cedric Diggory of Hufflepuff, and I don't know, he just doesn't do it for me. Well, who did I think was beautiful in high school? I don't know. I can't remember. It was so long ago. Right now, I would say Benedict Cumberbatch would be a great vampire if he wanted to smell my blood. But here's the thing. The biggest thing that didn't make sense to me about Twilight, why they chose to live in this tiny town. If I were a vampire and I wanted to go unnoticed by regular humans, I would probably live in a big city where you're pretty much forgotten, no one will notice you. And why are these vampires in high school? Like, if I were a vampire, I would probably go to college forever and rack up the PhDs. But first I would buy up a lot of property, beach resort properties, and then get that passive income, and then go get my PhDs. My biggest pet peeve from a writing perspective was that Bella didn't seem to have any agency of her own. She was pretty shallow and bored all the time, and I got pretty bored reading her bored life. If I were, I guess, writing this, I think I would want to give Bella a hobby. Obviously, she gets obsessed with Edward from the very beginning. Love at first sight. I would probably have made Bella maybe spy on Edward, because Edward spy on her, and it would have been a cool like foil. But there was that scene where Bella gets lost and might be attacked by some strangers. It was a little too convenient that Edward came and had to rescue her. And I get what you're doing, trying to create scenes where they have to be together. If you're going to do that, I think maybe you should have given Bella some more, like, ooh, I'm gonna spy on him. Oh, why is he so beautiful? Is he a vampire? Let me go find out. But I guess that's my style of heroine. Bella is not. My other thing, this is Edward talking. He says, I have a better than average grasp of human nature. People are predictable, but you never do what I expect. You always take me by surprise. I was not surprised with Bella, not once. I don't know why Edward is surprised. He needs to get out more and meet some more ladies. Bella, you're not the only amazing girl out in the world, but you're like perfect for Edward because he's a boring vampire. You know, he could have lived anywhere, but he chose this tiny little town, and then he chose to stay in high school. It's the biggest red flag. Edward is telling Bella, you're interesting when you sleep. He spoke matter-of-factly. You talk. No, I gasped, heat flooding my face all the way to my hairline. I gripped the kitchen counter for support. His expression shifted instantly to chagrin. Are you very angry with me? That depends. I felt and sounded like I'd had the breath knocked out of me. Wow, what's gonna happen when you need a fart? This is the end of the world. It's not gonna be the end of the world because it has already been the end of the world. When she doesn't see Edward at school for a few days, he's like out hunting because he's not in the cafeteria. Desolation hit me with crippling strength. Bella, what's gonna happen when you feel actual desolation? We won't know. I mean, we'll know, but we won't have words to describe it because you wasted the word desolation, where Edward was simply just not at school, you know, so. Yes, those are my thoughts on Twilight. Will I read the sequel and the third book? Is there? No. There are so many great books to read, and getting through it felt like so dreadful. When I finished, I literally skipped around my house. I'm done. I'm free. Maybe I'll watch the movies. I don't think I could do it. The one thing I am going to take away, besides all the new English words, the other thing that I'm going to take away from this is that Bella complains about the weather a lot, and it made me pause and be like, wow, I complain about the weather a lot too. Do I sound like this? Oh gosh, I'm so annoying. So this winter, I'm going to try not to complain about the weather, and I'm just going to think about Bella. Lessons learned. And now, on to the fun fact. I decided to look up bats because I think vampires are loosely based off of bats. I don't know. Is it? In case you haven't noticed, I really like wild animals. BBC's Planet Earth is one of my favorite TV shows. So, bats. Did you know that bats can live more than 30 years and can fly at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour, which is really impressive considering their size. Also, 30 years I feel like is a long time for such a little scary looking cute little animal. Bats can find their food in total darkness. I guess this vampires, yeah, they can do that too. Vampires cannot fly though, I'm pretty sure. I think they can jump really far and run really fast, so maybe it feels like flying. I would probably want that vampire superpower. Anyway, we're talking about bats now. Bats, this is one of my favorite reasons I love bats. Because bats can eat up to 1,200 mosquitoes an hour. Often, bats consume their body weight in insects every night, helping keep bug populations in check. Thank you, bats, because I hate mosquitoes. So please, bats, keep reproducing and keep eating those mosquitoes. Speaking of reproducing, unfortunately, bats are in severe decline. Many of bat species are listed as endangered. Thank you, conservancy workers who are trying to keep these bat populations alive. Thank you for your work. Next amazing fact about bats. Bat droppings called guano are one of the richest fertilizers. I did see a clip where David Attenborough is standing in a cave full of bat guano and he's like about to pass out, but props to him because he's like, I need to document this. I'll link a clip somewhere and you can look for yourself at my hero, Attenborough. So the world's largest bat is the flying fox that lives on islands in the South Pacific. It has a wingspan of up to 6 feet, which is crazy. And the world's smallest bat is the bumblebee bat of Thailand. weighs less than a penny.
So cute.
I think they're wonderful. I hope you do too. I think that's all the fun facts for today. It's great talking with you. I'm sorry for the Twilight rant. Thank you for listening, because apparently I needed to get it out of my system. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.